Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, and we're going to be looking at the test that we are currently battling. We put out a video on this a couple days ago. We are still seeing some type of resistance at the 200-day moving average. So we want to really dive into that, really digest what's going on. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and check out the sale on the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. The sale is going to end in approximately 2 weeks. So if you want to lock in the low rate, make sure you go ahead and do so before then. Let's go ahead and jump in. So the 200-day moving average is a moving average that we have not really used a lot this market cycle. Now, the reason we talk about it, we're talking about it now, is because there are a lot of people, I think, on the sidelines. There's probably also a lot of bots and whatnot that trade based on the 200-day moving average. And a lot of people, I think, can flip bullish or bearish depending on whether Bitcoin is above its 200-day moving average or below its 200-day moving average. It would have been like in the summer if you were, if someone were waiting for the 200-day to actually think that Bitcoin was breaking out. On these initial tests, you can see that we were sort of rejected off of the 200-day moving average. And eventually we got above it and we were able to put in a new all-time high. However, at the current time, Bitcoin finds itself just, sitting just below the 200-day moving average. Okay, just below it. And if you're curious what this line in the sand is, it's the same thing that it was the other day when I made the video, right? It's at 48.3K. Now, it's always useful to get an idea of what this moving average will be doing over the next couple of weeks, assuming the price of Bitcoin were to stay constant. What we can do is we can go back 200 days and we can kind of see where the price of Bitcoin was 200 days ago. And you can see approximately 200 days ago, the price of Bitcoin was right around the current prices. Okay, so if you look at this though, you can see that over the next few days, we're going to be getting rid of some of these values and replacing it with some of these. So let's imagine that over the course of the next, say, 2 weeks or so, the 200-day moving average might slightly, you can see it sort of just stalled out here at the station, but it might actually start to increase a little bit eventually if we continue to move higher than the prices from down here. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Now, the reason the 200-day moving average is important, it's not just because, you shouldn't just take my word for it, right? It's basically what we've seen in prior cycles. Ultimately, we'd like to see the cycles lengthen. We'd like to see Bitcoin head on up to several $trillion market capitalization. I think the biggest comparison that we need to make is looking at 2018, okay, and saying, you know what? We already have proven that the structure of this market is a lot different than 2018 so far, but really one of the bigger things I think that would prove the distinction or really show the distinction is if Bitcoin can rally above this moving average, okay? Because we've been rejected by this moving average in the past in 2018. If you look at the rally off the low, Bitcoin rallied about 54% to get to that 200-day moving average. Again, in June, up to July, it rallied about 51% to get to that moving average. Here we are again. It's rallied about 43% to get to the moving average. So we've seen this price action before, even in 2018. What we need to do is we need to get above it. That's the key thing. All right. So, I don't want people to lose sight of everything here and to just think that everything is just going to be super easy, because usually with crypto, it's not. But I wanted to draw people's attention to this, not to say that I want us to get rejected by it. I don't. I just want to show you that the emotions that you're experiencing right now are not that dissimilar from previous times in this market. And I just want us to really look at this and say, you know what? This rally off the low is great, and we came right up to the 200-day moving average. Now we need to get above it. And again, it's currently sitting at around 48.3K, and we went to around 48.1K at the local high. So this is a pretty big milestone. I would say watch 48.3. If you see Bitcoin rallying above 48.3K and especially getting daily closes above it, then I think that would be a really good sign. If on the other hand, we just keep getting rejected by the 200-day moving average, then clearly we're certainly not. Let's put it this way: we shouldn't get Forbes on the line just yet, right? We need to see this thing break. another thing to consider is, sometimes even if you get rejected off of it, it doesn't mean that you can't come back up a few days later and then break through it. We did that before, in fact, with the 100-day moving average. If you sort of go back and look at some of the stuff that we've seen happen before with Bitcoin, we've been in a situation with the 100-day moving average where sometimes we'll rally up to it, we'll get rejected, and then we'll just go back above it a few weeks later. And then, of course, this was the sort of the Black Swan event, so I don't really know how much you can take this to the bank on what exactly happened, but it is something to at least consider. And you can also see that we sort of rallied up to the 100-day. I guess we went a little bit above it over here, and then we ultimately found support at the 100-day moving average. The good thing right now for Bitcoin is that we are above the 100-day moving average, right? We're above that, but we still are just below the 200-day. So let's see if we can in fact get above it. If we do get rejected, right? If Bitcoin does get rejected here in the short term and it comes back down, what I would be looking for to hold as support would either be the bull market support band, which is currently at around 45.5K, all the way down to 44K. So really, let's call it 44K. And if that fails to hold, then maybe a wick down to the 100-day. Again, if we go too far below that, then you're basically in the same boat as before, wondering if we're going to have to see another leg down. So this is a very important time in the market. I think everyone can sort of feel that it's a very important time in the market. We're coming up to April. We'll see what happens in April. But we are sitting just shy of that 200-day moving average, and I do imagine if Bitcoin breaks above that, then the FOMO would really get real for a lot of people. Okay, Bitcoin has this habit of going up just high enough to get someone to YOLO back into the market, and then it corrects in the hopes that basically the market sort of has a way of really getting people to put all their money in at the worst possible time, and then to take all their money out at the worst possible time. So don't fall into this. I don't try not to fall into the habit of YOLOing in when everything's pumping and then YOLOing out when everything's dumping. If anything, not that you should ever YOLO really in this market, but if anything, it should be the reverse. It should be the reverse. So let's keep an eye on the 200-day moving average. It still is acting as resistance at the current time. What's also interesting, in addition to Bitcoin, which I know this video is on Bitcoin, but also the 200-day moving average is where the total cryptocurrency market cap is as well. And if you're curious where we're looking to break above there, it would be approximately 2.152 trillion. You can see right now we're at approximately 2.12 trillion. So these are the lines in the sand that we'd like to see Bitcoin break and the entire asset class as a whole break for us to really start to feel a bit more confident about the move in this market. This move over here, by the way, if you go look at the 100-day moving average for the total cryptocurrency market cap, you can kind of see that we were rejected off of it over here, and then we just came back up to it about a week later, maybe half a week later, and then we prevailed and got above it. Okay, the total crypto market cap also is, by the way, above the 100-day moving average, which it was rejected by once upon a time. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. And again, check out the sale on the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. You'll get access to weekly reports, 3 weekly videos each week, the Telegram alerts channel, the Telegram chat room, a risk dashboard, a website with all sorts of charts, including on-chain charts, social metrics, ROI charts, logarithmic regression charts, a strategy dashboard in terms of DCAing and whatnot, and so on and so forth. So make sure you check it out, intothecryptoverse.com. You can lock in the lower rate as long as you do not cancel, and the sale is going to end in approximately 2 weeks. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.